So today I'm going to talk about rotation, and I'm going to show you my walk, and I was going to show you kind of how it was before and then how I've fixed it a little bit. So sorry if you hear some extra walking and stuff. It's just because my kid's home and I wanted to do this earlier. I just was in the mode of organizing and getting stuff ready. So I like coming to you late at night now just because I find that either more people are watching or I get to kind of tweak it throughout the day to make it better for you guys. So let me know what you think. Okay, so today, first thing I'm going to do is when you walk, most people are falling into their steps. So what does that mean? So I'm going to use the ball here. It's not just in my way. So that means hopefully you guys can see this. So when people walk, because they either have one of two things. So when you have a lift on your shoe, it pushes the weight forward. And when it pushes the weight forward, it doesn't allow you to rotate. So when you walk, it's a rotation because it's an opposite. My chest will go towards the leg that's striking. So as you walk, if you place your hand on your chest here, you'll find that it's going to rotate to the leg that's striking out in front. What happens though is a whole bunch of things, but mostly we're either too forward because our heels are too high, and as we walk, we're falling into our steps, or because our hips are so tight from sitting as we walk, instead of falling forward, we're falling from side into our steps. So let me know if you can see the difference here. I'm going to show you my walk with my core not engaged, with my weaknesses, which I think I can still find my pattern that was before, and then with it doing it correctly. So if I relax, let me try to get into my position. So I've been working on my form for the last 26 days. So it has changed. I can still feel my old pattern, but definitely from yesterday's exercises where I was really getting into my hip and stabilizing it, I find that I really feel my right butt today. And I find I have so much more motion in this hip from that exercise. So I'll have to do the same thing yesterday. Okay, I won't let this get away from me while I have my train of thought. I'll stay with you, I promise. So, relaxed. I'm going to show you my walk, no core and no striking back, and then I'll show you the difference. So this is my walk normal, like how it used to be normal. So I want you to pay attention to my right side, right? Because I was saying my right side's collapsed, so I want you to watch as I walk. You'll see kind of like an extra step, kind of an extra slide on the right. So because I fixed my compensation, as I changed my pattern, lifted my neck, got my body more towards my right side, right? Because my right side was collapsed before. I had this shift going. Now I want you to watch my walk. I will do it just a normal, elegant, and then I'll do it with intention. So I'll show you both. So this would be my walk with no pattern, with a pattern. Okay, so I want you to see my side. So a little bit more fluid, but what's happening is instead of the fall right here, so instead of this falling, it's rotating. So this is rotating and coming around. And that's what I'm looking for. So a couple things I'm going to do today to work on that rotation. And then I'll talk a little bit more about actually striking back with my heel. I want it to be an even strike back, and that's me still fixing my turnout with my legs. So, two things. One, when you walk, it should be you're pushing yourself forward. So it should be an even heel strike with your feet, and you're literally pushing yourself off the ground rather than falling into your steps with your upper body. Another thing is you should be rotating with your ribs. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a seat here, and I'm going to push my feet on the floor, and this is why rotation is key. So I'm not gonna overgrip. All I'm gonna do is my knees are level here. I'm gonna push back with my left, forward with my right. So as I push back one way, I'm headed towards my right. As I push back with my left, I'm headed towards my left. So I'm just doing this with the legs. My pelvis will start moving. And I'm sorry that it's black today, guys. I didn't think, now I'm looking at the camera, I didn't think it would be so dark. So I'll probably remake this video at some point in my life. Okay, so this is me just using my feet, not my upper body. My upper body will come along, but this is me just using my feet to turn my torso. So now I'm going to take that standing. So as I pull back on my right heel, my sternum moves towards my right. As I pull back on my left, I move to my left. So I'm just working on this rotation. And what do I want? I want my spine to move around my body. Right. So this, even though it looks really simple, there's still a lot of tension coming through. Like as I pull back, I feel this back line from my heel all the way to my hip here. And then I feel my core on my right. And then as I pull back here, it's the same thing. So I want this motion when I'm walking. So as I'm stepping, literally should be even pulling back, rotation, pull back, rotation, pull back, rotation. And you'll find that when you start to walk, then you start to feel with your feet and see what's going on, then you can kind of understand where the pressure is hitting and where is it traveling to. So to start, I'm going to do some of that. To start, I'm just going to roll out my front line as well. So I will do some rotation exercises today, and I'm going to roll out my front line. So from here, I'm going to lie back on the ball, okay? I'm going to, if my stomach was weak here, pull this part in, and then I'm just going to lean back and stretch my hips. I'm going to show you, so there's two exercises that I was going to do today. So I was going to do the one rotation sitting on the ball just to get that set up. And then I'm going to do a bridge on the ball. And then I want you to watch my walk. Good. So here, this is me actually, this is a core exercise because this is me not engaged. This is me engaged. Not engaged, right? Where I'm just letting my back drape. But this is me I'm like, no. Where my back is shooting up, I need to close my front line so that the way I can push my hips forward and I can stretch out my hips. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do a bridge on the ball. So again, head working back, hips up. But I want you to take a look at this. So my hands are together and I'm pulling back on the right, forward on the left, and I'm actually rotating. So hopefully you guys can see this. I'm rotating towards my right. And this hip is dipping down, then I'm pushing, pulling back on my left, forward on my right, rotating my spine over to my left. Good. Head up. So this is key. Head working back, core set. Pulling back on my right, rotating to my right. Up. Back on my left, rotating towards my left. So I find that this way is actually trickier for me to get it to my hip on this side. So I will show you that this way straight so you can kind of see what's going on with my hips. Okay? So if I'm here, I didn't take into account this. So from here, just backing up, okay? So from here, and my hips, okay, I'm pulling back, I'm rotating, so my spine is straight, knees together, I'm pulling back, rotating one way, up, pulling back, rotating the other way. You can't see as much, but it's like one hip will drop, one hip will drop. One hip will drop a bit, I'll rotate this way, the other hip will drop a bit, I'll rotate the other way. Okay, so now with some core work. So this is key because a walk is something you do every day. And a walk is like, really, if you can set your walk, you can fix a lot of patterns from setting your walk because that's your body at ease and that's your body's natural rhythm and natural motion. So it's really key. If I can fix my feet to strike correctly, then I can start fixing my knees, start fixing my hips, start fixing my back. I can get rotation in the spine. Like there's a lot of things that can be fixed with an intentional walk. And I mean, I can go more about this, but all I'm saying is right now is that as I push back, I should feel that my front leg is pulling me back so that I can come forward. Same thing, front leg is pulling me back as I come forward, rather than me just falling into it or being quick, or me arching my back and leaning into it. So now watch. So now I'll set my spine. And like this is the position too, like this open hip intentional walk. I want to take this into my running. I want to take this into my stability movements. I want to take this into my squats, everything. So here I am, core on, okay? And now I'll do like a walk for you, so hopefully you can see the difference. But you can see my butt will fire more on this because I'm actually pulling back. If you want to work your butt on your walk, do this. Start pulling back. Every time you walk and you strike and pull back, that's a butt exercise. You don't have to go to the gym and do this 25 times. Literally, go for a walk, walk right, and get your butt firing. So watch, I'll do it again for you. So here I am, core on, I did some rotational work. Okay, so watch, as I strike back, as I pull, butt, and I'm not actually trying to squeeze it. Now my hips open and it's like my butt is pushing me forward the more my hips open. So that's what's going on there. So that's why it was so key for me to lift my hips and fix them and get them straight into this position. So then that way, when I walk, I can fire correctly. And it's just like the key for everything. You know, what are you using biomechanically? And the more I exercise, the more instead of doing a side strike on my walk this way, so watch, I still have that turnout I was talking about. And some people have a turn in, like I know a lot of people that their groin is so tight, they're turned in like this and they're walking. And that's not good either, because that's not going to create stability. That's just going to roll into the same problem, right? Knees and hips. So I want you to see this. So this is going to be another exercise I'm going to do, but I want to strike. So see how my right, I strike out more? So what I want to do is on my right, you can see this, right? I'm striking out. So this strike out on my right means that I'm actually not activating any of, like I'm just tightening the outside of my hamstring, which I've been trying to push out and roll back all this week, I'd say all this month, right? I've been trying to open up the back of my hamstring from here to here and roll it out. So I need to really start striking more even on the heel, so less on the outside of the heel, more on the middle of the heel. So I want you to see the difference because I can feel something. So I'm going to actually purposely do this as an exercise where I'm striking and pulling back. And I'm like tapping, I'm like pushing back and striking back as I come along. If you hear background noise, that is my child screaming. I'm trying to tune him out because he wants to come in the basement and he's not allowed. But anyways, so look, my even strike. So that's also how I'm gonna get, but it's more than just the hips. I'm like, that's also how I'm gonna get my hips open. But when you think, if I get my hips open, my pelvis is forward. So the more I can strike even, I can actually get my hips back, get the core set, and then I can work instead of just outside of the body, I can start to work the inside, which what I've been trying to work on, which needs stability. Okay, so hopefully that's not too much. It's all connected. I'll recap. Today I did rotation, where I pulled back on one foot, forward on the other, back on the other. So as I pulled my feet back, I rotated my body. I did it sitting, I did it standing, then I did it as an exercise on the ball. All I want you guys to do is pay attention with, are you walking, pulling back? Are you pulling yourself into your step? Or I'd say pushing off the ground, however you want to say. I think it's a pull back, right? Are you doing a hamstring exercise every time you walk? Pull back, push forward, pull back, push forward, or are you falling, right? So that's pretty much it. And where on your heel are you hitting? So let me know like where in your feet you're striking, and I promise I'll get to it. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow where I'll actually do some more exercises and stuff like that, less explaining. Apologize if it was too black and you couldn't see it. Thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow.